Okay. So today we'll talk about relationships. Sorry. So what do you all like to hear about relationships? Or what you come to your mind when you talk about relationships? Boy-girl relationships? What else? Family? Friends? Yeah, all these are relationships that we encounter on every single day. Actually, we are always in somehow or other we have some relationship with someone in our life. So this is the topic I thought would be good to know more and pick up some tips. So what we're going to cover today, I have basically like subdivided into 3 sessions, 3 subtopics. One is what is relationships, and types of dependence, and what are the skills for good relationships. So this will be the 3 main topics that will be covered today. So relationships, right? And this one I got from a dictionary. The definition of relationship is the way in which 2 or more people and things connect together. So as you can see from the definition, relationship is not just about people, not just about relationship with the very, very close one. It's also about relationship with any people or beings that you have connected with. These are all relationships. Even, some of y'all might like to do animal liberations. In a way, you are also creating a relationship with the sentient beings, with the animal. And if this relationship, it might not ripen this lifetime, but you already built that connections so that, in the future, when this relationship, the karma of these relationships ripen, because you have helped the sentient beings, when you meet in the future life, it would be an auspicious relationships. The person will most likely will have like gratitude towards you. Yeah, these are some of the qualities that we can have by creating a good karmic relationships with not just people, but also animals. And not just animals, we are also talking about things. When we talk about things, what comes to your mind? Put in the chat. Okay, let's see. Nature, yes, very good. So because we are studying counseling right now, and we talk a lot about self-care. We really talk a lot about self-care because, we always hear a lot of all the stories about other people, and people who come to counseling are generally who have some serious problem, then they come for counseling. So in a way, like the exchanges actually will make us very draining because we have to pay 100% attention when the persons are speaking. And one of the good way for us to practice self-care is actually going to nature. Apart from other things such as exercise, but nature is definitely one of the recommendations that we normally suggest to people and even ourselves. Don't go to gym, if you can, not just going to gym for exercise, try to go to nature. Try to go to nature, go to the reservoir, go to the park for a walk. It will help us to somehow, the interactions with the positive vibe, it will neutralize our tiredness and negativity that we are accumulated throughout the day. Even we spend so much time on computer, it's good to also go to the nature to discharge all the electronic vibes. I mean, okay, I know this is not so much like Buddhist teaching, but it's some practical tips that I think it need to be, it's applicable to modern people like us, where we stare at the computer most of the time. Yeah. And relationship is also a state of being connected. So relationship is not just about, you and me face to face. some of time, you know, even you connected face to face, but the heart is apart. It's like two different people living, two strangers living in the same house. Got relationship or not? Toxic relationship, I think. You know what I mean? So relationship is about a state of being connected together. Like sometimes when we do metta, loving kindness meditations, it's also a state of being connected. Like sometimes when my teachers tell us, you know, she can receive metta from other people sent to her. She can feel like, you know, she knows like people are sending metta to her. And for me, normally when I send metta, right, somehow or rather my heart will feel more settled, and the quality of love will generate automatically. So in this way, we are also generating a kind of state of connection with the people that we want to send metta with. So it is again a relationships. It is again a relationships. Even you are on an MRT train, you look at someone and you just a smile. You are creating a positive relationship, a state of being connected. And please do not understate your smile. Sometimes people having a hard day, your smile may be, you know, the only good things that happen to the life today. So that itself is also very, very precious. So this is what we meant by relationships. Not just like, you know, husband and wife together, you're having a couple relationship. But if the heart is not together, this kind of relationship is I think it's a little bit the connection is not there. Yeah, the connection is not there. Yes. Hang on now. Okay, talking about relationships, right? I thought I want to connect back to the Buddhist teaching because it is a Buddhist talk. So how can we connect relationships to Buddhism? For me, immediately, interdependence comes to my mind. Can you see the connections? Just now what I meant by relationships is about you with people, you with your surrounding, you with nature, you with the universe, even a text message, even if you don't see face to face, it is a relationships. You are communicating, and it is a relationships. And as long as that happens, there is a sense of interdependence are ongoing. So interdependence is not something that is like fixed. It's actually very complex, like what you can see from that little the picture over here. It's very complex. It keeps on moving, and a change of one person's will interpret the changes of the whole relationships. For example, I just submitted my assignment half an hour before this talk. So I'm actually quite tired. That's why, like, you know, the mind is still not fully adjusted yet to the Dharma talk yet. Still thinking of my cognitive behavior therapy. Yes. So because of my own being, you know, and now I'm connected to you, there is this interdependence. There's this interdependence. Who I am, I bring to this present moment. And because of who I am now, maybe not 100% into the Dharma state of mind yet, you might see that, oh, me, Sayalay, why today your talk like a bit jumpy, a bit like not so smooth. So, you know, this is kind of interdependence that is ongoing all the time in our life. It's always ongoing in your life. And if we are aware about this interdependence, you will gain a lot of insight and you will become a very compassionate person with a lot of understanding. Because because we don't just think about ourselves anymore. We think about the interconnectedness of everything together. Yeah, your one word, your one actions, you will change the whole the dynamics of the relationship you are had with the other party. Let's say you have a bad day, you go for a family dinner, then you show your bad face. Even though you don't talk, your vibes will affect the people around you. So this is the kind of relationships that, the interdependence inside the relationship that we, it's good that we pay attention to, because everything's are interconnected and we are affected by it, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. Yes. So like, now I want to talk about in order to gain interdependence, okay, in order to gain interdependence, I guess we need to know what is the different type of dependence that person can manifest. The first one, the healthy one, I call it independent. So we are talking about ourselves now. We're not talking about relationship, we're talking about ourselves now. Who are you as a person? Who are you as a person that you bring into the relationships? The first type is the independent type of personality. And what does this mean? An independent person, meaning that he or she, her mind state are stable, the emotion regulations are good, they don't have to depend, they don't have to cling on to other people to acknowledge their existence. Basically, they themselves are a healthy beings. Any questions for this independent? I'm not talking about big ego, I can do everything myself. No, not talking about those. Not talking about those are big egoistic. And that can be the second type of person that I'm going to talk about. The independent here, we're talking about a self, a I, that is very, very healthy. That's very, very healthy. Maybe you'd like to put on the chat what kind of example you think of as an independent person. What are the qualities of an independent person? Contented, yes. Yes. Anyone want to try? No response. Confidence in doing things on own, not needy. Feel that they have enough. Yes, that's right. These are all the qualities of a person that is independent. And if a person is independent, they can bring their independence into the relationships. I will elaborate a little bit more later. What is, yeah. Wait, how come I cannot? Okay, sorry. Yes. Related this quality to the Dharma teaching, I thought I pick out this sutta from Samyutta Nikaya. So it's a discussion between Buddha and King Buddha and King Pasenadi of Kosala. So King Pasenadi, he was thinking, and he was thinking about the subject of love. He's talking about the subject of love. So he asked Buddha, like, what do you mean? He asked Buddha, how do I know if a person loves themselves? How do I know if the person don't love themselves? So Buddha replied, oh, great king, if a person who do good, body, speech, and mind, they love themselves. Even they say, I don't love myself, but actually they love themselves. When we are talking about body, speech, and mind, most of us will think about what? 5 precepts, do dana, I don't know, practice meditations. Actually, it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. Let's talk about the mind. When we think like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this. What else? People are better than me. These are little qualities that we are not aware in our daily life, that actually we are not doing good to our own mind. And if we have all these thoughts constantly, actually we're not doing any good to ourselves. We don't love ourselves at all. And in the Buddhist teaching, Buddha always say, before you can do metta to other people, we need to have metta for our own self. So please don't think that, I chong to do katina, I chong to do charity work, I chong for Dhamma talk, I chong here and chong there. All are not meritorious deed. Sadhu, 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 those are good. But if you want to go a step more, cultivate your mind in this way to pick up the negative thoughts that you have. Try to pick up the negative thoughts that you have. And I don't know what kind of negative thought you have. I just give you an example because I just finished my case study. I just submitted. So I'm quite keen on this topic. This person, she come from a dysfunctional family. As in, like, she witnessed a lot of quarrels between their parents. She grew up in that kind of environment. So, and her mother beat her a lot when she was young. And because of the environment, and she lived in a just one-room flat. So because of the environment, she always feel that, like, no face in front of a classmate. And her mother actually go to the school and look for her sometime. And she really feel very, very malu in school. These are all the small little things that accumulated in her life, that eventually she had this mindset that, I'm lousy. And she has the problems of anxiety and depressions. She has the problems of anxiety and depressions because of keep on witnessing the quarrels within the family. It's already inside her, So, like, now that she's adult, and currently she's having some challenges with her work. And what comes to her mind is always like, I can't do this job. My boss is going to fire me. These are the things that keep on going on, ruminating inside her mind. And because of this, she developed anxiety. And because of her anxious mind, she cannot focus on her work. And because she cannot focus on her work, she had hard time finishing her report. And because of that, her job suffer. So why I bring up this is because if currently, right now, you have some negative thinking patterns, please pick it up and change immediately. Otherwise, it will become, we call it a belief system. You believe that you are like that. And once you have this belief, it's like you put a chop on your head, and you will be functioned through that to see the world. So whatever you see outside is always negative. Like you're wearing a sunglass, seeing the world. Whatever you see is a little bit distorted. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is all these small little things, please try to take care. And if you can pick it out, do change your habits. And why this is important? Because if you have negative thinking about yourself, you are already wearing the sunglass, the negative sunglass. When you see other people, even your close one, you will tend to pick up their negativity. It's because ourselves, we see others as negative. Can make sense? Can, right? Yes. So when we are talking about good for body, speech, and mind, please take care of the mind. Why? Because only you have the right view. If you keep on thinking that I'm not good enough, you are having a wrong view. You see yourself as loud, as you don't see yourself neutral. You're seeing yourself with, you don't see yourself neutral. You don't see yourself neutral. If you do not have the right view, your thinking will be distorted. Once your thinking is distorted, your speech generally will be distorted. You might not say what your heart really thinks. You go through here, and whatever come up, it may be distorted. And because of that, bodily actions in terms of behavior. We're not talking about, going there, sadhu, sadhu, wow, very nice, body good. But then I'm talking about daily life, which is more important as a practitioner. In the daily life, interaction with people. If your mind is always in the negative state of mind, your body actions and your speech will be unknowingly, you will hurt people. Unknowingly, you will hurt people. Yes. And yep. And it will be, you will basically compromise your own, the relationships that you want to work with. So the second type of dependence, types of dependence, I call codependence. What I call it codependence. So what is this codependence? A codependence is a person who naturally not so healthy. Like just now, the case that I mentioned earlier on, the lady, she, because of her background in her childhood day, she has developed this unhealthy self. You know what I call it, this healthy self, I call this unhealthy self. A healthy self is a person that is independent. They can think, their emotional regulations is good. They don't have to cling on people. They are, but then a codependent person is like, they need people to validate them. That means that, like, they have very little confidence about themselves. They need other people to praise them. They need the validation from outside to feel that, okay, I am a good person. Yeah, I'm this, I'm that. So whatever people say about them, it affects their emotions. It affects who they are as a person. Furthermore, this kind of people, right, they do, apart from do not know who they are, they also seek for approval and validation, as what I say. They also need a lot of support. They also need a lot of support. Do you see in this kind of relationship before? I did counsel one case, one youth. The boy came from a very good family. So in school, he actually met a girl. Again, this girl had witnessed a lot of family quarrels at home. So inside her, she always like very unconfident, very fidgety. And the relationship becomes like this boy always have to support the girl. As in the girl, her emotions dependence of the man is very, very high. She will cling on to the boyfriend as if like, I don't know, something that like glue. Everything all the time must stick together. If the boyfriend like cannot accompany her, she will make a big hoo-ha. She will make a big hoo-ha. Stuff like that. This is a sign of like codependence in the relationships. And this is really, really unhealthy. And in this kind of codependence, right, we call it a mesh relationships, meaning that, will eventually turn out to be very possessive and controlling. Why is that so? Why is that so? Because they're always in fear, always fearful. And once they are fearful, right, they will always want to cling on to something. When you cling on to something, do you think the relationship will be healthy? Your partner will be suffocating. Your partner will be suffocating. And that's why a lot of relationships ends. They thought that they are a good partner, but actually they thought that, I'm so clingy, I love you so much, I do so many things to you. But because of their codependence, they are so clingy, they don't know who they are. Everything have to depends on the partner. After a while, the partner really cannot breathe. And this is where we say the relationship start to split. Yeah. So please know that these things called codependence. And again, you have to check yourself. You have to reflect on yourself. Am I healthy? What am I bringing? Who am I that bring myself into a relationships? Am I an independent self, or am I a codependent self? Usually, what we see in most of the cases in the counseling room is either one of the party have this codependence problem. They don't see it as a problem, they don't know. They can be so nice to the partner, but because of their background that they don't know, and they didn't go and work on it, it affects how the relationships functions. Okay? Okay. So again, back to the sutta. The Buddha later tell the king, just now he said, when you do good to the body, speech, and mind, you are loving yourself. And if you don't do good to your body, speech, and mind, even so you say that you love yourself, you are not actually loving yourself. You're actually not loving yourself. So again, I like to emphasize again and again is that love starts from yourself. Whatever relationship you want to engage is who you are that bring into the relationships, the two different individuals that bring together to the relationships, and the interactions will develop into the products of the relationships. Either party, if they are not healthy, it will end up into an unhealthy relationship. Simple as that. It's very simple equations. Very, very simple equations. So I would really suggest that for people who want to engage into relationship, work on yourself first. Work on yourself first. Why is that important? Let's say that you have this codependence tendency. You don't know. And you always have this sense of loneliness, that this sense I need to be with somebody. Otherwise, like I'm so lost. I don't know who am I. You need to always have a partner to be with you. Then you know who you are, or even a career, or something you always have to associate yourself with something to validate who you are. If you have this kind of mindset, please work on that first. Please work on that first. Try to check what's going on inside me. What's wrong with me to have this kind of habitual patterns? And if I were to enter a relationship with this kind of habitual patterns, I'm sorry, it would be very difficult for your partner. And if you truly love your partner, I'm sure you don't want to bring your hurt to your partner, and really depends on the partner to make yourself full. Rather, I would really suggest that you make yourself you develop yourself, you develop your mind, change the habits of your mind. All the negative thinkings that I talked about just now, make a big effort to change. I call it thought changing. It's one of the mind training, thought changing. if we can change that, right, naturally our mind become more balanced, more equanimous. With that mindset, then you gotta look for a partner. Then you are bringing your love to the relationship, not your baggage to the relationships. Okay? Then now we are talking about the interdependence. What is interdependence in a relationship? Just now we elaborate a bit, and maybe we can talk a little bit more now. We just make a simple case study. Two party, not too complicated, just two party. If two party are interdependent, everything will work out pretty well. If one party are codependent and one party are interdependent, the person who are interdependent will sort of like always be the giver. Unhealthy relationship. If two persons are codependent, it becomes a very attached, a very enmeshed relationship. If one party, something happened to one party, the other party cannot take it because they are so enmeshed. If they lost this party support, right, these persons, they don't know how to function in the world. Yeah. So if you see some couple relationships, they can be very codependent. They thought they thought it is love, but actually it's the codependence that depends so much on each other that they cannot function without one another. So if one person suddenly, need to go, pass away, the other person had really suffered quite a bit. Really suffered quite a bit. Yeah. But then an independent person, even though that the party have to go, the person can pick up quite fast. Will suffer, but lesser. And the interdependence, maybe I'd like to share with you a recent story that really happened to me in my school. We have a lot of projects in this semester. So unlike my previous semester, I always work with group mates that I know very well. We already know our we know our strength, we know our weakness. So when we do projects together, very easy. You do this, we know our strength. So everybody will do their strength and things go well and go fast. But then this time round, I was put into this group, 3 of us together, that I never worked with before. And initially, we all agree that, okay, let's be cool, okay? Marks not so important. Let's be cool about it. So we didn't start the projects very early. We start like maybe just 1 week before the due date, 1.5 weeks before the due date. But then the trouble is that this prof gave us 2 quiz before this presentation and written projects. The quiz was so difficult. So one of them, she said that she thinks that she failed her quiz. Then she started to kanchong. When she started to kanchong, right, she brings her kanchongness into our group dynamics. And she becomes like, I am the owner of the projects. She controls, she becomes the leader, Unknowingly, she becomes a leader. If you're a good leader, that's fine. Let me share with you her habitual patterns. Whatever I write, whatever points I write on our report, she literally delete everything and rewrite. And even I do PowerPoints, okay, you think my PowerPoint okay, right? When I do my PowerPoint, without me knowing, she didn't even ask me for permission or ask me like, can I change your PowerPoint? She changed my PowerPoint. I almost got attacked just before the presentation. Yeah, it's like, yes, she becomes so, yes, it changed the whole group dynamic so badly that it was so difficult to work with. So like 3 of us, The two of us were okay, you know. Whatever I say, the other group member, she was okay. Like, okay, she would tell me like, maybe this point not so relevant. Okay, we cut. But most of the thing I put on my PowerPoint, she said, I think it's good, you know. But this person, when she see it, she literally changed all our PowerPoints. We literally changed our PowerPoints. And can you see that how interdependent works here? We were good classmates in the past. And because somebody kanjiong about her grades, after she thinks that she will fail her quiz, again thinking only, you know, we don't know our result one, no, until the end of our semester, then we know. She thought that she will fail her quiz, and she started to act on her anxiousness. And she bring the anxiousness into our group dynamics. Everybody suffer. I nearly got nightmare. It was very, very difficult working with this group, that it took me a few days to actually to gain back my normality, or gain back my equanimity. Yeah. So this is how interdependence works. We were okay in the beginning, but because one person's behavior, everything changed. Everything changed. And this is how interdependence work. By the way, for this classmate, right, I don't blame her, because after that I reflect. Apart from the worry for our grades, which is valid, the second thing is that she herself has some problems, also about childhood problems. She got a very demanding mother. So she has been taking therapies herself as well. So inside herself, she is easily to get nervous. And when she gets nervous, her coping mechanism is, I must take control. So she brings these qualities into the relationships. Why I bring up this case, not trying to play myself a victim, but what I'm trying to say is that apart from your own emotions, you need to know when you have this emotion, how do you normally respond? How do you normally react? How do you normally respond to the world? And that will again affect your relationships. Yeah. Okay. So this is so much about the types of relationships: interdependence, codependence, and interdependence. Interdependence actually supposed to be the most the better. I mean, you know, if two persons are independent, independent, the interdependent relationship will definitely be very, very healthy. We bring who we are, again, as I say again, we bring who we are into the group dynamics, and it always evolve, always change. Today, I'm not feeling well, I'm bad mood, the group dynamic change. So you can apply this into your daily life, at home, at work, with your friends. You might always think that, you know, this person is, you might want to think that this person always be the same person. They always behave in the certain way that you want him or her to behave. But can this be possible? Impossible. Impossible. Let's say a boy and girl, when they fall in love, because they see some qualities of the opposite partner. But then, if the life changes, the person change, and the person change, and you try to maintain a relationship, perceiving that the person is always the way he or she is, good luck to you. I'm quite sorry, you will have a lot of disappointments and argument. Why you don't treat me the way you were before? Stuff like that will start to surface. Why you don't give me time? You know, these are the things that will happen. So interdependence in relationships, if you can see from the picture here, I thought it was it's a good illustration how it is like the interdependence of relationship. Different colors, when we mix, the intensity of the color, if you add a bit of a pinch of dark or a pinch of black color into these color combinations, the color will change. This is how it works. This is how relationship works. This is really how relationship works. So everybody are responsible in the relationship, okay? Not just one person. Not just one person. Everybody's responsible. And yeah. So we go to the other sessions about, what is a good, what are the good relationship skills? Anybody want to guess? Understanding, communication, respect. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Good. Thank you for your response. The first is actually insight. The first is actually insight. Again, Buddhism coming to the picture here. When you talk about insight, before you can have insight, what you need to have? Awareness, mindfulness. You're aware, you're mindful what is going on. You're aware and mindful what is inside me. You are aware and mindful what is going on, the group dynamics. In Chinese, we call it 醒目 a bit. Yeah. So why is this important? Why is this important? Everyone want to try? Why is insight important in the relationships? No one want to try? Okay, never mind. If you have the insight, you have the ability to anticipate what is going on next. You can see the person's face. You already know what's going to happen already. Then you adjust yourself. If you see your face, your boss back face, go away first, right? This is what I mean by insight in daily life. Not talking about Didit Vipassana is Anicca Dukkha Anatta. We're talking about just being street smart and have a higher EQ. And why is positive and negative in the relationship, the group dynamics again, the relationship dynamics. What is going on? Are we heading to the right directions? Are we having a lot of quarrel these days? What is going on? Why? Then you don't just sweep under the carpet. Please bring it out and talk. The more you sweep under the carpet, this is where, just now all the examples I give you, certain experience accumulating, eventually will affect your mental wellness and your emotion wellness. So insights are important. You already smell something wrong with the relationships. It is time to bring it up to talk about it. Do not be shy, in counseling, we normally very direct in a very gentle way. I noticed that you are angry. Is there anything going on? Is there anything that you would like to talk about? Not that you see the person angry. Oh, you don't you react to their anger, then you lost the game. You have no insight. That means your meditations still have a long way to go. But then if you're inside, you have the concentration, right? If you know that the person is angry, this is what you can do. You can actually talk it out. And this is what we mean by a good communications in the relationships. You become sensitive to the other person's needs. Not just your own needs, you're more sensitive to the other person's needs. And you can pick up the signs that this person is worried. And this is where even the person haven't talked about it, you can share your concern. You can really express your concern. Sometimes, are you okay? It's good enough. Yeah. And if you have the insights, you know who you are. You know who you are. As I mentioned earlier on, you know, it's like we have a rubbish inside here if we don't cultivate our mind. If you do not have insight, you don't have mindfulness, you don't know you have all this negative thinking. And if you have insight, and if you are somebody that are positive, independence, when people tell you, hey, look, why you always behave in this way? I can see that you have these habits. We don't argue. The person don't argue. Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing this out. I see it now. Could you give me some time? I will work on it. And this becomes a very positive relationship. If this is like a couple relationship, this is how they help each other to grow in the Dharma. Not just the, always about hearing Dharma or the intellectual Dharma. We are talking about practicing Dharma in the daily life between a couple, or even between good friends. This is how we can bring Dharma into our relationships. Yeah, insights. The second point, somehow it's not very responsive today. The second point is we call it mutuality. That means that everybody have our own needs. Yes or no? Yes, right. And when we have this mutuality, we convey our needs to the other person. Don't do this mind reading games, okay? What do you want for birthday, my dear? No need anything. I have you, I'm good enough. Then sometimes the man, right, they can be really the woody type, Oh, okay, you say this, okay, I'll do this for you. Then the girl will get angry. What? No flowers, no this. Inside their mind, they start scolding. Don't play this game, okay? Don't play this game. If you want anything, express it in a positive way. Yeah. Convey in a right manner and directly. Convey in the right manner and directly. Again, this is about right speech. Right speech. Nobody for partner, right speech, huh? Yes. And so that, it can be mutual. Things are mutual. And in this category, right, we're also talking about, if you're mutual, you're willing to give in to your partner's needs. You're willing to give in to the partner's needs. As in, like, maybe the partners are very focused in something, in, like, take for example, I'm very focused in my assignment, to the extent that it was important to me, to the extent that, I actually cut off all my all the appointments I push after today. Because my friends are understanding, I tell them these assignments are important to me, and it's not a subject that I know very well, so it takes a lot of time for me to do research, for me to write. I need the time, and would you okay if we were to meet after this date? And if the other friends, can understand my positions, because I communicate directly, I communicate in the right manner, the other people can understand you. And once with the understanding, people are easier to make some adjustment. If you do not have this mutuality, everything me, I think a little bit difficult, two very strong-headed persons. A little bit, if both parties don't want to give in, and don't just focus on what they want to do. It's a little bit difficult to maintain any healthy relationships. So if you want to engage in any relationship, especially couple relationships, mutuality is actually very important. You're willing to give in. You're willing to give in. Because your life is about two persons now. We're not talking about just one person making your own decisions. If you like to be just one person making your own decisions, then don't engage in relationships. Don't engage in the relationships. And to go further, like mutuality is also talking about things out before what you want in the relationships. Let's say a partner, boyfriend and girlfriend, if they are in the stage of getting very attached and talking about marriage, maybe it's about time they talk about whether they want to have children or not. Not after they are married. Why is that so? Because having children meaning sacrifices on both parties. Having sacrifices on both parties. If one of them don't want to sacrifice and push all the responsibility to the other party, I think it's it depends on the relationship, depends on the dynamic again. So talk it out so that both parties don't have to suffer and cause a lot of problems. And the child are very innocent and don't bring your baggage to the next generations, in short. Yeah. And this is what mutuality is all about. Talk it out directly and in the right manner, practicing your right speech. And the last one in a good relationship skills is emotions regulations. Emotions regulations. Regulate your feelings in the relationships. What do you mean by regulate your feelings in the relationships? Don't bring your negativity into the relationship. This is what I meant here. If you have a bad day, you can tell your partner when you meet out for dinner, okay, today I have a bad day. My mood is not so good. If pre-warn first, my mood is not so good. If please forgive me if I my speech may be a little bit offensive today or something like that, pre-warn, preempt. And even like if two parties are already in a very difficult relationship, like me and my teammate, and when I get almost heart attack, I really wanted to scold her. Actually, I raised my voice because I thought it was like, what? This is a simple respect you should give to a person, and you are an adult and you don't do that. And you know what she do? She defends herself. She defends herself. She defends in a way that, saying that, my pictures are not sharp, this and this, give all kind of excuses to defend herself. This is not emotions regulations, definitely. When we try to defend ourselves, meaning we are already react to the emotions dynamic at that time. So after that, right, after the presentation, I actually apologized to her. Like, even though I know that I may be a victim in a way, but I took the initiative to apologize to her. And I remember Buddha also say, you want to have good friends, you must give and all that. So I try to practice the four sympathy that Buddha taught. I apologize to her in the right manner, talk softly. I bought a present for her. I even bought a present for her. I even wish her good luck for our final paper, which submit today. So in this way, I actually dissolved the difficulties in between me and her, our relationship dynamics. Somebody have to give in first, If you give in, right, naturally the other party will feel better. Naturally the other party will feel better. Yeah. So this is part of the emotion regulations. And emotion regulations, we're also talking about stay calm and objective. Like I already give my example earlier on. After I go home, do a little bit of meditations, I calm down, then I can respond to the situation better, not in the heated, not when you are two persons are very heated. So again, apply in the relationship. If you know that both persons are very emotional at that time, maybe it's good to say, let's talk about it later. Let's talk about it later. But if you have quarrels, I don't know, sometimes it's good to try to resolve it as soon as possible. Yeah. Emotion regulations also talk about when you have negative emotions, we don't let the negative emotions to control us. I was angry at that time. If I were to let my angry prolonging, I will start to hate my classmate. I will stop talking to her, and that's the end of relationships. But then, if I would think positively, I say to myself, I can handle this. Everything is going to be okay. I come out of my mind, everything is going to be okay. And I start to do some actions to rectify the situation. And if at emotions regulations, you know how to self-respect. Like, you don't be like a poor fool, you know. This is what I meant by self-respect. And yeah, and even though, like, you know, you not feeling very, the weather is under the, let's say your emotions is under the weather, like, you know, you have to feeling moody or so sad about how your partner react to you or things like that. If you have emotions regulations, you know that it will go away. Things are impermanent. If you work on it, it will go away. So again, it applies to, let's say, two party, if they have a breakup, don't let that hurt linger within yourself for too long. You'll feel hurt, but tell yourself that, you know, this hurt and sadness will eventually go away because things are impermanent. It may take some time. I'll be okay. And I can handle it. These are some of the emotions regulations we can apply to ourselves. Then now we do a small case study. Today is really like the lecture case study some more. Okay, we try to apply what we learned just now, the 3 skills, insight, mutuality, and emotions regulations, and the 3 types of dependence, interdependence, codependence, and interdependence into this case study, which I think is on newspaper today, about this Nia lecturer who outrightly, for no reason, at Orchard Road, he started to scold a couple, you know, this Indian and Chinese couple. He started to criticize them. Eventually, he was caught. And after he was caught, he has 2 charges. Apart from making the racism remarks, he also processed some sexual videos and all that. So he has 2 charges. How can we apply what we learned just now into this case? For emotional regulations, lead him to act rashly. Very good. Very good. What else? Okay, one by one. This lecturer, this Nyan lecturer, which type of is he an independent person or a codependent person? Hypothesize. Poor insights due to wrong view. Yes. We hypothesize, is this person an independent person or codependent person? Does this person have right view? Distorted, isn't it? Codependence, yeah, a little bit distorted. You know, a lecturer and he has all these sexual videos with him. Something is wrong inside here. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. To me, I thought it's like, it may be something wrong with this person. I may be wrong, but I'm just hypothesizing, like, you know, this person's maybe inside himself, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. That's why he see the world, again, you know, he see the world with these sunglasses. Like a couple, Indian and Chinese, something, he cannot take it, he cannot accept it. And because he has poor emotions regulations, he had to react to it. And the consequences is he lost his job, and now most likely he will be going to jail. And it affects not just him, the school, his family, this couple, and even us, the whole Singapore, who knows the story. In a way, we react to it, isn't it? So this is how interdependence in a relationships work. Whatever actions we do, it just not affect one person or two person. It actually affects a lot of people around us. And these are relationships. These are interdependence. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Anything else you want to contribute to this case study? I purposely picked this because I don't want to pick boy-girl relationships. I thought this one is more neutral, but even in a neutral relationship, a person's codependence, a person's bad emotions regulations, wrong view, no insights, even strangers, things like this can happen. Let's talk about intimate relationship, friendships, family. We always show our worst part of us to people that we are close. Imagine the amount of hurt we bring to them. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, some food for your thoughts, yeah? And bring back to the Dharma. Buddha actually, okay, there's this story. Here comes the Buddha one day. He was at Savasti. Another Pindika invited Buddha to his house for a dana. So when Buddha was in Anatta Pindika's house, suddenly they hear at the background, somebody was shouting and screaming at the servant. So Anatta Pindika tell Buddha, it's okay, this is my daughter-in-law. She always behaved that way. Is there anything Buddha can help? So Buddha asked this daughter-in-law of Anathapindika comes in front of his presence. By the way, this daughter-in-law also named Sujata. So Buddha gave him this sermon, the 7 types of wife. We'll talk about wife. At that time, we're talking about wife, but also in our modern context, we are talking about either husband or wife. Okay, so he mentioned there are 7 types of qualities. The first 3 is this the not so good one. The first one is the destructive. The second one is the robber. In the modern context, people who gamble, people who always like to buy luxury goods, regardless of the family financial status. The person's the robber wife can be like always want to enjoy material comfort and make the husband work very, very hard, and a mistress wife, everything also don't want to do, everything partner do, everything both up. This is what Buddha called a mistress wife. I think most of y'all are not into this category, I'm sure. But just in case, like, sometimes you have this desire of wanting a lot of things and keep on demanding, do know that, you're actually putting a lot of pressure on your partner. And if you don't take on responsibility when you have children, you don't take on responsibility to take care of the children, in a way, you are a mistress wife or mistress husband. Because these days, unlike the past, wife role is always a housewife, but nowadays it's working couple. So everybody have the same responsibility. I do hear of cases where husband and wife working, baby cry at night, husband pretend that nothing happened. So the wife have to be the one that always have to wake up. Very unhealthy relationships, and the wife has to take in a lot. Yeah, in a modern context, actually all these small little things, it does happen in the relationships. Buddha so wise, 2,500 years ago already tell us. So there are there's 4 more types of wife, which Buddha recommend. First is the motherly wife. This happens to relationships, or rather say people who come from a family that he or she is the elder son or daughter. They usually have these patterns of taking care of other people, siblings. They are used to taking care of, like, the Chinese Asian culture, 老大 must take care of the younger one. So if they grow up in that kind of environment, naturally, they will bring this quality into the relationships. They always like to play the motherly figure. Everything they bao ga liao. It's okay. Buddha thinks this is good enough. But then, in the modern context, sometimes you might want to discuss, is this what your partner wants? Even though these 4 are good, but maybe you are the motherly type, but your partner want the friend wife or friend husband, then you got mismatch again. Mismatch of personality also can cause trouble. So back to this motherly wife, take care and responsible for the, her partner's wealth and everything. The second one is the sisterly wife. That means you treat the sisters, treat the partners like a sisters or brothers. I don't know if that is what, it might suit certain couple. And the third type is this companionships. I think for modern context, most people will prefer a so-called a friend's partner. They can share everything under the sun, so both of them are equal. Support each other equal, And the last one is the slave wife. 2,500 years ago in India, the female's status especially in the family, is very, very low. They normally play this role of the slave wife, as in they need to serve their parents-in-law, they need to serve their husband before they can eat. That was in the past. And after listening to this discourse, Sujata, which is the daughter-in-law of Anathipika, replied back to Buddha, from now on, I will be a slave wife to my husband. Again, that relates back to that historical background, and that was his choice, and she started to change herself, and the trouble in the house, dissolved. Yeah, so that was the sutta that Buddha talked about, the 7 types of partner. I call it partner, the 7 types of partners. So what type of partners you want in your relationships? And who are you? Who are you? Are you the sisterly type of persons? Are you a friend type of persons? Who are you that bring into the relationships? And also discuss with your partners what you want me to be. Which one do you prefer? Category 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 of them all good. Which one you want? Then you try to, there's mutuality already, then you all can discuss and make some adjustment, change your habits. And let's say if you are the motherly type of person, and if this is not what your partner liked, maybe it's good that you make some adjustment yourself, because this is because of your upbringing. But now you are into a new relationships, your role have changed, and you may want to do some adjustment here and there. Yeah, okay. And to conclude to our today's short Dhamma talk, so we talk about these 3 types of dependence: interdependence, codependence, and interdependence. And we also talk about some skills that is helpful for relationships: insights, mutuality, and emotions regulations. By the way, the skills for good relationships, I don't pick it up from anywhere. It is these qualities that have been heavily researched in many, many studies, that these are the things that will help in the relationships. So with that, right, we always know about, good communications, respect, all this, we heard a lot. But these are the few more that you might want to think about it, and to make some changes yourself, so that you all can enjoy a good relationships. Yeah. Any questions? Sorry, I got very short time to prepare this talk. Sorry. Any questions? You can put in the chat. Maybe some of you want to share your secret of good relationships. Anyone want to share?
Okay, actually, I have one question.
Sure.
So if you notice that you have like codependent tendencies, then what do you recommend we can go and change? How do you recommend that we can go about changing it or improving about it?
Okay, so if a person's aware that they have some codependence tendency, we talk about doing some self-work. From a Buddhist context, we're talking about Buddhist first. From a Buddhist context, I would suggest that first pick up mindfulness practice, because it's only through mindfulness practice we can start to pick out what are my patterns. Normally, after I learn mindfulness, right, I will try to work on my thinking patterns. Most of the time, we are the thinker, meaning that we think that our thinking is me. I'm good, I'm bad, I'm this and that, he's scolding me, da, 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 da. But then if you have mindfulness, we observe our thinking. So how to do this? I normally start with to stop the change of thinking that is non-stop. We have the monkey mind that is always go on and on and on and on and on. To break that habit, I normally do this, I call it thought stopping, meaning that once in a while, 5 minutes, what are you thinking? If that becomes my mantra, every 5 minutes, what am I thinking now? Then after I pause, that means you already have the awareness, you are not in the thinking. The second step is, what am I thinking? If you want to think from the Buddhist context, greed, hatred, and delusions, then I will sub-classify. Am I thinking about angry thoughts? Am I thinking about jealousy thoughts? Am I thinking about sensual desire? Am I thinking about attachment? Things like that. You slowly sub-classify your thinking. Until when you sub-classify your thinking, you already start to gain control of your own mind. Then at that time, very important point is, most of the time you will see untrained mind will most of the time is negative thinking. When you see that we have negative thinking, very, very important point, must note, no judgment. Because this is the quality of mindfulness. We see that it is. I am. How come my thinking is so dirty? How come my mind is like that? You judge yourself. There's no self-love already. There's no self-love. And judgment is already went through our thinking process. Because present moment is, you just know, we don't think further. We don't go ahead and judge. We don't go ahead and elaborate, analyze further. Mindfulness is just know here and now. Okay, so no judgment. You know that you're like that. I'm okay. Normally, that's where I practice self-love. Mindfulness, loving kindness comes in. It is okay. I am who I am because of my past background. It's because I'm grew up from that environment. That's why I become who I am now. Because I didn't practice mental hygiene. That's why my thinking is so messy. This is how you sayang yourself. Yes. After you sayang yourself, right? Then naturally, when we have love, even our inner self, when we have love, right? They start to mellow down. When it start to mellow down, then maybe you want to work on your emotions. You want to work on emotions. I prefer to work on thinking first, then work on emotions. Then you start to, because you have the mindfulness, and if your mindfulness becomes stronger, you can actually pull the brake faster. You know, if you're angry, last time was like outbursts. At least right now you have this mindfulness. You angry, you can actually control a bit. Last time your outburst is 100%. Maybe with the mindfulness, even 80%, that's already good. You are progressing. Never give yourself that kind of high expectation. Today I practice mindfulness. 1 week later, I must be like those monks and nuns, no anger, impossible. Because we're talking about bringing habits from past life until now. The habit is so ingrained, you know, our thinking pattern is so ingrained. And it takes a lot of time and practice to unwind. So be very realistic. Give yourself at least 2 years just to work on your thinking. Be very realistic and be very, very kind to yourself. No rush. And we work on the emotions also. How to work on emotions? Similar. How am I feeling right now? Sometimes we are in this set of sadness or anger we don't even know. This is how we use our mindfulness for ourselves back and work on our emotions, like how I described in working on my thinking, on our thinking. From there, you start to have control. You start to change your habits. And this is real practice. This is real practice. During this in-between, these are daily practice. And on top of that, we also need to practice a bit of calm abiding. Without a bit of calm abiding, our mind cannot. It's just too wow. When I talk about calm abiding, if you are already good enough a practitioner, if you can watch your breath, do your anapanasati. But if you cannot, you can just do body scanning. Still cannot, you can listen to music, drawing, read a book, something that will calm yourself down. Then you can pick up the mindfulness better, easier. Your mind can, your mind is not so active. It's easier to pick up our mindfulness. This is the Buddhist way that I would suggest. And in the counseling way would be talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Because a lot of time, we like to sweep things under the carpet, which is everything we swallow. After a while, our mind is full of rubbish. So if our mind is full of rubbish, when you sit in meditations, very difficult to calm down your mind. Very difficult to calm your mind. But then if you were to talk to someone, if the person is non-judgmental, and they know how to bring out illicit, to make you talk out what are your issues. And for us training in counseling, right, when we hear a story, we will pick up the themes and patterns. We all of us have themes and patterns. And from the themes and patterns, then we will work on it. What is the cause? What is the root cause that you have this? So based on the case that I mentioned in the first beginning of talk, the lady who has this living in the one-room flat, parents always quarrel, and she developed anxiety. And now that she bring her anxiety to work. But after I hear her story, we trace back that her anxiety actually developed when she was young. When she was young, her parents quarrel. She doesn't know how to respond. The parents don't know how to guide her. She doesn't know anything about this thing called emotions. And she only know how to cope by fear, scared. That's the only way she knows how to cope. And now, because of that, she becomes a habit and bring until today. So from a counseling perspective, normally we'll treat this way and work on what could be the cause. And the good things, the beauty of talking it out is that once you know your problems, the insight, if you're talking to a counselor or things like that, you are basically asking somebody to give you the insight rather than you meditate and find your own insight. The Buddhist way is you meditate, you find your own insight. The counseling way, you ask somebody else to listen to your story and they give you the insight. What could be the possible problems? Sometimes our mind are very, very, very tricky. The moment that we hear that, this is my issue, somehow or other the person's like, let's say you have a sickness If you have not diagnosed, you can have a lot of worries. This happened to us. But then once you are diagnosed, you know how to work on it, have your problem solved. The same as our mental problem, this codependence. We don't know, we react in the way that based on our codependence, based on what kind of codependence we have. But then once you work on it, you are aware. This is when you stop and you can start to change. Yeah, this is the Buddhist way and the counseling way to work on codependence. And please work on it, because for anyone who want to meditate, if they don't work on all these issues, very difficult to progress. Even though you can sit 3 hours, 10 hours of meditations, cannot progress. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Yeah. Good questions. Thank you.
Hello. Hey, there is a question in the chat box.
Yes. I feel that modifying my own expectation, thinking that the other party is doing their best at that moment, knowing that we have no absolute control, help me in managing my own emotions in the relationship. Definitely. This is what we call the insight and mutuality. We try to put ourselves into the other person's shoes, try to understand them. Once you understand, right, naturally our emotions reduce a bit. But from my own experience, right, if you want to really get back to that equanimity, have to meditate a little bit to gain back the stability of the mind. So Anapanasati is samatha is very important in this aspect. Even though you cannot get into excess concentrations or deep jhana concentration yet, even you can just do like a little bit of breathing exercise just to ground yourself. That will help us in our mental well-being, in terms of our emotions and in terms of our thinking. Yes. Any more questions? If not, anyone want to share their relationship story? Okay, I know my friends are here. Tom, would you like to share? Okay, one question. When we walk and chant a mantra, will it help to ground our mind? If our mind has a lot of thinking, chanting mantra is one way to ground ourselves. Chanting is one way. That means you pull yourself back to something that you can hold on to, But then sometimes it works and sometimes it don't work. If your mind are very, very runner, chanting mantra is helpful. It's a kind of distraction. After your mind settle down, try to practice this mindfulness in present moment without doing anything, if you can. That is second step. This is to help you to develop the awareness. Chanting mantra is like a distraction. Your mind is very run. You change your subject to another thing. Still working very hard. Your mind is still very active, but at least a positive object. At least you're creating good karma, not bad karma. But not good enough, because we're talking about karma binding, we're talking about vipassana. We talk about stable and calm mind. So once your mind are more settled down, do this. Try not to have a meditation object, but just aware and be aware of the surrounding. Or you can be aware of a meditation object. But if you're walking, I think I would prefer to be just aware of the surrounding. Yeah. Okay, 2 questions. When we feel anxiety, think a lot that we are not good enough, How can we feel that we are enough? Again, anxiety is the effect. The cause is usually the fear. When we have depressions, usually the cause could be, I'm hurt. Because we didn't work on the cause, we always have this anxiety. So what is the cause of your fear? Then you go a step deeper. What is my cause of my fear? Only then you work on the root cause. Bring the root cause, aware of the root cause. Once it's settled, your anxiety will naturally reduce. Taking medicines, try to distract by not looking at the root cause. It's like taking Panadol, you know. You can calm the symptoms, but you cannot cure. Go back. What caused me fear? So that I have this anxiety. Anxiety is always the manifestations already. There's always this underlying emotions underneath. Yes, so normally when we talk about people with anxiety, with depressions, we don't care about all the symptoms. We know there are all these symptoms, but then we want to hear the story. Because it's only through the story you know why you have anxiety. Okay, second one, what's the difference between self-love and being selfish? Anyone want to answer? Want to try? Self-love and selfish. Selfish, I would think that 自我为中心, I'm the center of the universe. I am in control. I must control everything. You must behave the way I want. In terms of relationships, you must behave the way I want. You must give me what I want. That is selfish. That's selfish. But then self-love is, I know I'm tired today. And it is okay, I'm tired today. And like today, I'm tired. I'm actually very tired. And it is okay. I know my presentation today, my Dharma talk today is not up to my standard, but I accepted it. And that is self-love. I don't go and punish myself. Oh, you know, I don't. It's okay. Yeah, too bad, you guys. So sorry. Yeah, but I accepted it, you know. That is self-love. You can joke about your own mistake. That is self-love. You know, don't be too harsh on yourself. That is self-love. So simple. Yes, if you have self-love like this, right, it's okay, right? No anxiety. Little, reduce. Because you're not so conscious about I must be the perfect one, you know. And if you always want to be the perfect one, that one definitely will cause a lot of anxiety in the person. Yeah, perfectionist is not a good, wholesome object, okay? Because perfectionists, a person becomes perfectionist because they always think that they're not good enough. That's why they want to be perfect. Yeah, again, go back to there's fear, you know, there's competition somewhere. Yeah, this is how you all need to work on your mind, okay? I'm not talking just counseling, I'm talking about Dharma practice, real Dharma practice in daily life. Not just chanting, what is going on in your mind. Cannot go far. It's good, but cannot go far. If you want to deliberate in this lifetime, you must know what's going on. Yeah. Compassion versus controlling. Would you like to elaborate? Controlling, eh? Answer to question 2. Okay. Controlling, I might want to give an example like my classmate that I mentioned earlier on. He controls every single thing within our group projects. That is really controlling. I don't have any say. I must totally surrender. I give in to him, to her, like a slave. That is controlling. That is controlling. So if you want your family members or your partners or what, I mean, everyone have little habits here and there. But you see the habits, you cannot take it. And you try to control, try to change. That one is a bit controlling. No? Yeah. Compassion usually has this essence of like, you understand this is interdependence. You understand things, you have understanding. And that itself is a quality of compassion. That's self the quality of compassion. Let's say, give me an example so I can talk. My mind is half dead. Give me an example. Okay, people have certain expectation of us, and they make us feel we have to live up to their expectation. This can be tiring. This is exactly controlling. This controlling, you don't allow people to be who they are. You want them to be who you want them to be. And that's not love. That is definitely not love. In a way, it's a little bit distorted relationship, a little bit codependence. Some elements of codependence there. Yeah. And imagine in a relationship, every time you have to live up to the person's expectations, there's no sense of relaxation at all. And relaxation is so important in meditations. So whatever act we do, we are actually causing the person can't meditate. And that is good. That's not so good, nah? That's not so good. Again, about interdependence, your actions can actually cause a lot of harm to the person that you love. Any more questions or any sharings? Can we help someone to understand they are being unhealthily controlling, or really not much we can do if they are unable and willing to self-reflect? I think this is also very important in a relationships. And I think there are some techniques that we can do. Connect before you correct. Let's say the persons are not in that right frame of mind. Whatever thing you say, it becomes poison. So we need to connect before we correct. Lower yourself down. Practice the 4 sympathy. Right? Talk softly, give, talk what they want to hear, stuff like that. Make them become your friend. Then slowly, once in a while, drop 1 or 2 hints. Don't throw everything at one go. Occasionally, drop 1 or 2 hints. The person, if they are reflective, maybe they can pick it up. But if you tell it uprightly, without the right speech, you talk so straightforward, then most likely the persons will get more angry rather than salvage the relationship, even though you have good intentions, even though you can see the person's problem, but they are not ready. It is okay, be patient. Patience is another parami. We just send loving kindness to them. Yeah, we don't get upset, we don't get angry, we just send loving kindness. Not everyone's are ready. So I give you 2 examples. I have few teachers. Some of my teachers are very strict. And I have another teachers that have this unconditional big love. So the strict teachers, I'm so scared of my teachers that every time I see her coming near, I run. Because the teaching is just so direct. Sometimes I cannot take it, Sometimes I really cannot take it. And most of the time we run. Everybody's so scared of her. So scared of this teacher. And it's her intention, this teacher's intention is good, we know. But just that the kind of how the persons give us the medicines, a little bit too much for us who are vulnerable, We city people, most of them are very more vulnerable emotionally, cannot take criticism too well. Then I have another teacher. This teacher, he's famous for his love, compassion. So he never at one time point out what's wrong with me. You know what he do? He very clever. He just gave me a book that I need at that point in time, the teachings that I need at that point in time. Then he say, sister, you read this every day, okay? A short one, a few stanza, and you contemplate on it one day at a time. You contemplate on one stanza, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, then you change to another stanza. I learned from him and I change. So if you want to change a person who are not able to reflect or, not in a good relationship with him, you might consider using my second teacher's strategy. Sometimes no need to say, but yeah, a book or a movie or something like that. If the person is wise enough, they can pick it up. What you are trying, what kind of message you're trying to bring across. Okay. Anything else? If not, then we will I'll pass my time to Li Hui.
Yeah, I'm here. Anyone has any more questions?
Huh?
Ask them if they have any more questions.
Oh, okay.
They have a few seconds to unmute themselves. No? Okay. I shall go on with my script then. Thank you so much, Sayalay, for your talk today. Sadhu.
I'll make sure I'll prepare more better. I'll prepare well.
No, Sayalay, it was excellent. Excellent. Shall we invite Sayalay to lead us in the closing puja and also the dedication of merits?
Okay, thank you for taking your time, listen to this sharing. And I hope that you have picked out some points. And even the fact that you come here for sharings, and if you can just pick up just one point and make an effort to change, you are planting a lot of seeds, a lot of good karma for yourself. Do not underestimate this listening of Dhamma or this effort of putting changes. And we now share all these merits that you have accumulated with all the sentient beings. Etawata cha ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sappe dewa anumodantu sabba sampati siddhiyang. Etawata cha ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sappe buddha anumodantu sabba sampati siddhiyang. Etawata cha ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sappe Citta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. And now we share our merits with our departed relatives and friends. May they partake our merits and be well and happy wherever they are. Idame nyatinyang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatinyang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatinyang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And now we pay respect to our teachers. Put our palm together. First bow. Second bow. And the third bow.
Shall we pay respects to Sayalay with 3 bows? First bow, second bow, third bow.
Sugihotu, Nibbana Pachahotu. May you all be well and happy. And I hope that everyone put some effort in mind training so that you all can see really good progress in your own spiritual path. And the moment you change your mind, you can actually change the relationships that you have with anybody in the world, honestly. So yeah, the changes all start with ourselves. Yeah, thank you very much.